It's time for us to move on to this part of the show now. Let me quickly introduce to you my guest in the house, special guest in the house, Big Sheikh Odegbami is with us on Sports Tonight. Big Sheikh, thank you for honoring our invitation at very, very short notice.
I'm glad to be here.
Honored.
Thank you, Tony. I'm glad to be here.
Before I ask you my questions and then allow people to tweet questions at you, let me read this interesting one. It's coming from Yunusa Olayinka. Look at what Yunusa is saying. Yunusa says, coaching the Super Eagles is like sharing a national cake. For God's sake, Yunusa. He says, so let Sunday Olise come and have his own court. I'm sure he will do well. How can you say that, Yunusa? do you agree with him, Big Sheikh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, keep those questions coming. But let me start by asking. About this time last week, we were not sure if we were under a FIFA ban or not. As someone who has been in football, all your life in football, how does it make you feel? We come under the yama, we come off it, we come under it, we come off it, almost on a regular basis.
Well, this time in particular, I just didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand the story, a case in Jos, filed by the wife of somebody, and up till now, I still don't understand. But thank God that the suspension has been lifted. I thought that we should have made more progress in our football administration than we are doing at the moment. And, well, as I said, it's good that we are back.
What do you see? From the World Cup up till now, I know you were in Brazil for the World Cup. I felt we were one of Africa's best teams at the World Cup, going beyond the first round. Could we have built on that momentum going into the African Cup of Nations qualifiers in a few weeks?
Well, I tell you that after this particular World Cup, certain realizations have come to me. The experiences I gathered this time, we are just so completely different from everything I've had, before, since 1994 when we started going to the World Cup. And for the first time, I can see clearly through this maze of preparation, administration, coaching, how teams win or how teams can win, and the welfare of players and all of that put together, how it all comes together to form a winning formula. I can now see it very clearly. And I can tell you that the Nigerian team to this World Cup did exceedingly well, considering the quality of players we took to the World Cup, considering the time we had to prepare, considering a lot of things. So our boys did exceedingly well. We should have had a better team. We should have gone with some better players. The coaching could have been a little bit better. Everything could have been better. But with what we had, it was a fantastic thing. And aside from that, even administration. In Brazil, the organization, the movements, how people went from place to place in that huge geographical space, we must give kudos to the NFF that put together that program. So after it all, I'm just surprised that I was hearing that there's a lot of chaos and confusion and accusations, and it just perplexes me.
We just rolled out the results of some qualifiers from the Africa Cup of Nations 2015. In a few weeks, we should be talking about preparing to defend the trophy we won in South Africa 2013. What would you advise? If you had the powers to decide, look, I'm sticking to Keshi, I'm getting a new coach, I'm preparing the team in this way or in another way, what would you do with the Eagles, with Keshi?
I'm just surprised that there's conversation about who is going to take over the team. I'm surprised that we're even discussing it, because the most successful Nigerian coach in our history is Stephen Keshi. Without question, you look at the records, you look at everything put together, there's nobody that has done what he has done. And he is of the generation that we have been saying since 1988 should take over coaching in Nigeria. We shouldn't go back to all those, our old people like us, who had coached before, but it should be from Stephen Keshi. And Keshi has garnered experience, he's still learning, and he's available. He has done well, better than anybody else. Do we now want to start to experiment with somebody else? I think we should reinforce Keshi, convince him to stay. Except he doesn't want to stay, he has something else to do. We should convince him to stay. And somebody tweeted something you just read. Sunday Olise. Let me tell you that Sunday Olise, in my estimation, and in fact globally, He's now recognized as one person who has talked football better than any other African. He has talked it. His analysis of games are unprecedented. We need to get him into the system. I'd like to come and support Stephen Keshi, because in talking it, that means you understand it. You can talk tactics, you can talk weaknesses and strengths and so on. He is somebody that should actually come and do what Silvanus Okpala was supposed to do in that team.
A lot of people are asking questions here. Shola Starch says, can you get Big Sheikh's view on Nigeria's World Cup performance? He's just giving you his views right now. Does Big Sheikh have any plans to run for the office of president of NFF? He has tried it several times. Is he willing to try again? That's from Ikoyi boy.
No, well, you know, as I said, coming back from Brazil, I have learned a great deal. Football is my life. That's all I do. I write it. I teach it, I sell it, you know, so I cannot but
you produce it for TV.
I cannot be within the football the environment. And what kind of contributions can I make? I'm still making my contributions. So you don't have to come first to be the winner. You don't have to be the president to make your, your contributions to your country. So in any way possible, I think I should start thinking now, it's not becoming president or chairman of the NFA or NFF that matters the most. But in any capacity that one can make solid contributions, you can still make them. Rather than get away from the system the way I had done before, I think I can still do some things, even within the NFA, without being the president of the NFA. They need my experiences in a lot of fields where other people are benefiting and they are acknowledging. I think I can be within the NFA system, not necessarily on the board, but be part of it with making contributions without aiming to become the president, going political, doing all those elections. I can't cope with all of those things anymore, but I can still make solid contributions. Yeah.
Before I come to a lot of questions coming through for you on Twitter, before I come to the next question from Twitter, let me ask my own question. I know you have been involved with Sports Academy in Wasimi, the International Sports Academy in Wasimi. What's been going on with the academy? I know I read about scholarships for students, a lot of things. Tell us about
just very briefly. It is a secondary school.
A sports secondary school.
It's a secondary school.
Okay.
A normal secondary school.
Okay.
But all the students in the school are sports students. Mostly children who are troublesome at home, who don't want to go to school. They want to play and be like JJ, and then their parents bring them to say, look, add their education with their sports.
Okay.
And so through the years, we have been producing fantastic students. I believe that school is going to be one of the best secondary schools in Nigeria. This year alone, we have 5 students out of 13 who were in SS3. 5 of them are on full scholarships to American universities. The one that have just graduated now, we have 4 already penciled down to go to American universities. We have 11 students in Sweden, in Cyprus, in the UK, all of them on different scholarships from the school. People don't know much about it, but I tell you, it is one of the best secondary schools in Nigeria. And what we have there are authentic young people.
How challenging has it been for you running that academy? And I know it's not easy putting a school together. It's new, a school with emphasis in sports. How challenging has it been for you?
Well, we subsidize it, but it's been very, very fulfilling. And the highlight of it, so that everybody will know, is that there are 5 students from Borno State.
Oh, from across Nigeria?
5 students from Borno State who are on full scholarship of the Borno State government. They've been there for 2 years. And the transformation is such that, but for the crisis going on in Borno, maybe the whole of that school would have been populated with children from that part of the country. So it is a school where other people should take an opportunity to find out about it and come and see how their children can benefit from the combination of education and sports.
And some of the pictures that I was able to download from the internet, I went online to see if I could get some pictures. Are these pictures of some of the students
of your students? School? Yeah, they are in paradise. The best of
it's
two
not
worlds.
just football, because I know you've been a football person.
Yeah,
Although
it's not just
do
football.
Yeah.
We do a few other sports. We have one of our students who is in the UK on a scholarship. He's in a UK university. We have 2 of them that are playing basketball in America now. They were in the school and they were discovered by American coaches. But most of them really are football players.
All right, so get a kid here, you do entrance exams, or how do you
do
it?
entrance exams when the admission forms are out, and so it's a very small school.
Okay.
So we don't advertise so much for everybody to, because we can only take 20 every year.
All right, let me read a few questions here. My regards to Chief Odegbami. Please help me ask him his secret of looking young.
I'm a young man. I'm a young man.
So what's the secret?
I'm a young man, my friend.
Okay, this one, Yusuf Nabi says, big hello to Big Sheikh. Tell him he's Guinean fan. We have met once in his office. I'm his biggest fan. He's from Guinea, Yusuf Nabi. Says he sends his greetings to you.
I say hello to you too.
You are not just popular in Guinea. You are popular all across Africa and
Some
beyond.
parts of Africa.
I mean, I had a feel of it in Brazil.
Thank you for taking me around in Brazil. He did a fantastic job. Thank you to him.
All right, let me see if I can still read a few more tweets before our time is up. Chief Odegbami, don't you think that winning the AFCON affected Keshi negatively? That is, by shutting up the door on some players. That's what Kunle Shiriki.
I think it was a mixture of a little bit of ill luck. Some players were injured, and he brought in some other new players who did not now perform very well. And shortly before the World Cup, a few other players were injured, and so all manner of things. It was a conspiracy of the elements, I think, against Stephen Keshi. Otherwise, we would have had a fantastic team going to the World Cup.
This last one says, where do you see your school in 10 years? How many years is the school now?
7.
Okay. In the next 10 years, where do you see
it's going to be
the school?
The best secondary school in Nigeria. The best in terms of academics. And when you add sports to it, that's paradise.
All right. Tell us about where is it?
It's in Wasimi near Abeokuta, very close to Lagos here. It's 35 minutes from Lagos, 15 minutes from Abeokuta, near Ewekoro Cement Factory. If anybody who has time to just go there and see the great job that is going on there. It's one of 35 such projects in the world. We were actually nominated for an award by a body called Beyond Sports under former British Prime Minister Tony Blair.
So if someone is interested in getting your contact and being a part of it, how do they contact you?
Go
to the
on
website?
the net, theinternationalacademy.org. Theinternationalacademy.org. Oh, my office is in Yaba. Everybody knows it. Just come there.
and get a feel of Big Sheikh. Well, Big Sheikh, one final word to those who are watching us. What can you say to them? And then to those who administer Nigerian football as well.
Well, I have great hope in Nigerian football. I believe that Nigerian football is going to be the light for this country. There's so much darkness around. When you look at it, it's a country that is not functioning. So many things are wrong politically, economically, and so on and so forth. And our football is, like a microcosm of that. But football continues to provide that light to illuminate the possible path that we can take. Football has transformed Nigeria, has taken Nigeria to such heights that no other event has done in our history. And maybe if we focus on football a little bit, do what we need to do, put the right administrators there, get the right coaches, get Sonny Elise to come in, we start to win things beyond Africa. Winning in Africa is routine now. We start to win things beyond Africa. And by the year 2030, Nigeria will win the World Cup for the first time. The first African country to win the World Cup in the year 2030. Go and mark it.
Sheikh Odegbami is also a prophet.
Go and mark it.
He has prophesied that in 2030 Nigeria
will in 16 years.
In 16 years from now, that will win the World Cup. Big Sheikh, thank you for coming on Sports Tonight. Thank you for honoring our call, even at very short notice. We'd like to bring you again. And again and again and again.
It will be my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. We have to wrap it up on that note. Thank you for watching Sports Tonight this Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.